Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is actually going to be a very short one. I have a slew of videos I have to do, but today's video I actually saw on Facebook. I have like an unsolved true crime Facebook page that I follow, and this one really caught my eye. Because there's not a lot to this case. Like, nothing at all. There is nothing to this case, and that to me is really weird. Today's case is about Diane Taylor. She was an 8-year-old who was murdered on August 1st, 1963. So this case does have quite a few trigger warnings. I'm just going to tell you this now. Trigger warning for murder and trigger warning for rape. I usually try to steer clear of cases that have young girls that have been sexually assaulted, and because those cases hit really close to home for me, especially this one. She's 8 years old. I have an 8-year-old niece, so it kind of feels a little too close to home for me. So let's just kind of get into this video, and yeah. On Thursday, August 1st, 1963, around 2:10 p.m., Diane Taylor was seen walking down an alley behind the Austin YMCA in Chicago, Illinois. She attended the day camp at the YMCA, and this was an everyday thing for her, so it was nothing new. But on this particular day, when she was getting ready to leave, she asked a counselor to help her unwrap a lollipop, which isn't like a lollipop, it's a sucker, it's like a dum-dum. And later, a friend of hers stated that they saw Diane walk down the alley behind the YMCA around 2 p.m. Diane's mother, Rita, actually returned home from work around 6:30, and Diane had not returned home yet. Rita then reported her daughter as a missing child to the Chicago PD around 9:30, so 3 hours after she got home. Just 2 days later, after her mother reported her missing, Diane's body was found around 9:30 in the morning behind 1055 North Lockwood. She had been stabbed, slashed, and her cause of death was a direct stab to the heart. Her navy blue shorts, white socks, white tennis shoes, blue framed glasses, her keys, and her blue billfold with her YMCA ID and 2 rings were missing from her body. Law enforcement believed that Diana was murdered somewhere else and moved to the alley she was found in. Her autopsy led law enforcement to believe that she'd been murdered approximately 36 hours prior to her body being found. It had also been found that she had been raped. Within 48 hours of her abduction, she was found murdered in an area very close to where the YMCA was. Like I said, there's not a lot on this case. So I had to really rely on the Facebook post for this, which will be linked below, don't worry. But trying to find any report of this online was just really hard. I found pictures of the newspapers that mention it, but there's not a lot about when she went missing and when they found her. There's not much about what's happened in between there. But the same day that her body had been found, a report of a teenager, possibly between the ages of 18 and 19, was driving an old 1949 2-door black Ford with damage to the left front fender. Above the tire had been seen coming out of the same alley around 6:45 a.m. Another report of hearing a car stop and a car door slam around 6:30 to 6:45 a.m. in the alley where Diane's body would be found. 50 Chicago police officers were assigned to go door to door to canvass the Austin area and looking for information or witnesses to what had happened to Diane or what had happened to the car. In September of that year, law enforcement also interviewed 75 male students attending Austin High School, which was the local high school around where Diane had been murdered. Shockingly, Lance Jeffrey Voss, who was a person of interest in the Lewiston Civic Theater 1993 murders, of Christine Nelson and Brandy Miller, and the 1982 missing person Stephen Pearsall, the 1979 disappearance of Christine White, and the 1981 murder of Kristen David, lived in the Austin area of Chicago around this time. And ironically, he went to Austin High School and was Diane's camp counselor. He had been interviewed and was actually not linked to the case. So nothing happened after this. Diane's case went absolutely ice cold. And like I said, there wasn't a lot of information that I could find, but there was a lot of information for the police. But it was nothing that could easily be pieced together like a puzzle. They had a hard time with it. They just couldn't figure out who did this. But, like I said, there's not much to this case. The post on Facebook has a lot of comments of people who are from the area talking about how it is still a well-known case that people like to talk about and speculate. People wonder why she walked down the alley of the YMCA when she lived in the opposite direction of the YMCA. People suspect that she was lured down this alley. Her body has been exhumed for DNA testing, and hopefully newer technology can help out. Back in, the 60s? Back in the 60s, nothing was really done for this case. They didn't have the same technology we have. And, there's so much that we could do now with this case. So during the time of the case, when it was happening and they were looking for information, they dressed a mannequin to look like Diane for the news. They wanted people to know what Diane looked like, what Diane was wearing. And they wanted people to remember that Diane Taylor was just an 8-year-old little girl who had been wrongfully taken, and in such a horrific way. And when I was reading this post on Facebook and reading the comments trying to see what other people had to say, a lot of people that are older generation, I guess I should say that they remember the fear that lingered over the community after the murder of Diane. They were terrified that their sons and their daughters would also be murdered. And nothing came of her case. And I decided to do this case because I knew it was going to be a small video, but also because I have never heard of Diane Taylor until I saw that Facebook post. And to me, that's always something that shocks me, is some of these kids deserve to have their names said and told to the media, and to know that her case, I had to find out from Facebook. And the post was about 4 paragraphs long, and it was by her cousin. A family member posted something on Facebook about her and said, "I would love to know more about this case." I would also love to know who did this to Diane. Was it the guy who was connected to the 5 other cases after the disappearance and murder of Diane Taylor? Or was it some random man that she just happened to see? Or was she lured into that alley? And who did it? I want to know what thought went through their minds to lure an 8-year-old little girl out and kill her. So if you guys know anything on this case, please feel free to comment down below. And if there's anything that I can find when I edit this video, I will 100% insert a clip of editing Sarah talking about it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please don't hesitate to comment down below any cases, or go onto my profile, and on my banner there is a little Google form that you can fill out. Tell me about a case, kind of tell me a little bit about it. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye.